it just disappeared. I don't know what the hell happened, but it is gone. It's gone. I have been so ungodly busy right now. It's not even funny. 6 weeks from yesterday is departure day for Sturgis. And I have been terrible in recording. I apologize. Yeah, the bed is kind of shot, but so let's go ahead and do hopefully Sturgis ride video. So there's, I guess we'll talk about four primary rides, three out of three really, that pretty much everybody's going to do, you know, every year. And there's multiple roads. I'm just saying these are the loops that people are going to take, and you're going to do. Obviously, you're going to do the big three more than once. You're going to do Iron Mountain Needles and the Wildlife Loop more than. You might only do the Wildlife Loop once, but you're going to do Needles and Iron Mountain multiple times because they are that good. You'll do Spearfish and Vanocker Canyon multiple times. They're close to Sturgis proper, and they're decent rides. Yeah. Now the Badlands, yeah, you might only do that one day. Because, I mean, the Badlands is a, let's just call it 250 to 300 mile day. If you're looking for something longer, Little Bighorn's an option. Although I've heard, don't quote me, but I've heard that they're doing some construction around the battlefield, so not everything is doable right now there. Bighorn's about a 600-mile loop, so it is a legitimate full day in the saddle. You will leave Sturgis at, like, you know, 6:30, 7 o'clock. You will not get back till about 8 o'clock that afternoon, and that's assuming you only spend an hour and a half or so at the battlefield. So let's start at the beginning. Probably the first ride I'm gonna do when I get in and get camp set up and all that stuff, and that's just because of convenience, is going to be probably Vanocker Canyon first. Now, Vanocker Canyon in and of itself, it's not overly technical. It is probably a beginner to intermediate ride. I mean, it's nice sweeping curves. There's nothing really. There's no 180 switchbacks or anything. It's off of the first Sturgis exit. If you go away from Sturgis, that's Vanocker Canyon Road. I believe it's Junction Avenue in the town of Sturgis. I might be wrong, but I think it is Junction Avenue. There's decent elevation changes. I mean, you're probably talking somewhere around 100 feet or so in elevation changes. You know, decent amount of curves, probably in the 12 to 15 miles between Sturgis and Nemo. You're talking, I would say 100 or so curves. Nothing overly severe, no nasty switchbacks. It's just nice little meandering road around some you know, hills. I forget the state highway that it lets you out on, but it's right by Nemo. It's right by Nemo, and it takes you over. One way you turn, you go through Nemo, and you'll end up in Rapid. If you go the other way, if you go, I guess it would be west, you're going to end up right by the Sugar Shack on 385, and then you can use that to take you into Deadwood. Like I said, beginner-friendly road, easy. It's a good starting ride. It's not overly technical. Speed-wise, you could probably, even on a full dresser, do 50, 55 miles an hour. I think the speed limit's only 40 or 45, so you don't know that, but you could probably do 50 or even faster. And if you're on a sport bike, yeah, that'll probably be the first ride, because my guess is when I get to Sturgis, if the weather's decent, I'll set up camp and probably go into Deadwood that night, depending on exactly what time I get into town. Now the second ride, and it's a pretty good loop, is the Spearfish Canyon Highway, which is 14A, I think. You basically, if you're leaving Sturgis, you take 92 to the town of Spearfish, get off, you go around this golf course just south of the expressway, and you'll be a left turn, and that takes you down the Spearfish Canyon Highway, which will eventually take you into, I don't know if it's lead or lead, I think it's lead, but whatever, it doesn't matter. It's a little more technical than it's a little bit more technical than Vanocker Canyon, but it's also a legitimate canyon. Like, you're in the notch next to a creek or a river. There's waterfalls around there, so plenty of places to pull off, get pictures, hike a little bit if you want to. Top tip, make sure you bring a comfortable pair of shoes to walk around in if you're going to do Spearfish Canyon Highway and you want to hike a little bit. I'm not saying, you know, you need legitimate, you know, you just want something that you can actually hike, maybe, you know, 3/4 of a mile, maybe even a mile on if you wanted to. It's more technical. It's probably around 12 to 15 miles. Again, a few more curves, a little bit tighter curves. About at the midpoint, you have the Spearfish Canyon Lodge, which is a good place to stop off and stretch your legs and maybe grab a drink real quick, because they have a little convenience store. They do have a restaurant, although from what I've heard, the restaurant is a little bit pricey. There are food trucks around. In addition, that's normally one of the places that Indian has one of their demo trucks. So, you know, if you want to test ride an Indian, that's normally not a bad place to do it. Yeah, I would say that Spearfish Canyon is probably a little bit more on the intermediate side. But if you've got more than, you know, a season of riding, even half a season of riding, you put on somewhere around, you know, 2,000, 3,000 miles on a bike. Now, top tip, before you go, I would definitely do some parking lot practice. You know, find an abandoned parking lot, just practice doing tight turns and stuff. Balancing, getting used to, actually, I would probably do that like 2 weeks before I leave. Just go into one of the parking lots that the local MSF courses use and just kind of do all the stuffing without the cone set up. If they're not there, if they are, I'll use the other side of the parking lot and just do some practice. Even if it's only 15-20 minutes, it'll get you used to, you know, making curves that are so tight that the phrase I've heard people use is, I can see my own back tire. Yeah. So that'll bring up, so that's basically one loop, and it's a good loop. Leave out of Sturgis, go down Vanocker Canyon. I don't think I've done the eat and drink video yet. If I have, I can't remember. There's a good breakfast spot. The Nemo Volunteer Fire Department normally puts on a breakfast buffet, and it's just east of where Vanocker Canyon Highway dumps you off on whatever. I want to say it's Highway 44, but I might be wrong. And it's like 15, 18 bucks, and it goes to support the volunteer fire department. So, you know, good cause. You know, head out there, do that, get, you know, stuff your face a little bit. Then you can head over to, there is a gravel road that's a little bit more direct getting to 385 to head down towards Hill City. I mean, if you're brave and don't mind gravel, go for it, but, you know, otherwise you can head down, like I said, I think it's Highway 44, and you end up right by the Sugar Shack on 385. ride to the chip, and it doesn't cost you anything extra as long as you have the extended pass, the 2-week pass, early bird, whatever they call it. And we'll get some riding in before, you know, peak time. So yeah, there's that. As for you know, places, if you're going to grab a drink, the entire town of Deadwood is really cool. There's eats and drinks all down Main Street there. In addition, I believe Harley generally has one of their demo trucks in Deadwood, so there's something to do there. You know, you got all the casinos and stuff in Deadwood. You know, all the old bars and stuff down Main Street. There's all sorts of cool stuff to do there. So yeah, there's that. So I'm going to save the big three for last, just because, you know, it's the big three. And I got an itch in my forehead. Sorry about the wind noise. So let's go ahead and do the Badlands. I would not do the Badlands on the first Thursday, Friday. If you're riding in, it's not a bad loop to do either on the way in or way out of town, or both. You can do both. You take Highway 44 one direction, I take 90 the other. 44 kind of takes you through the backside. Now, I think what I'm going to do next year is, and I might build a loop of this on either Google Maps or something, I don't know, if I figure out how to do it, or the Harley Ride Planner. But I will leave out of the chip and probably take 90 out to Wall, because Wall is your entry spot for the Badlands. Stop at Wall Drug, maybe have breakfast at Wall Drug, maybe have breakfast in Rapid, I don't know. I can't know, but it's about probably 90 miles, 80 miles, something like that. It's a little over an hour to go from Sturgis to Wall, and then you go into the park, the Badlands Park. You will need a pass for the Badlands Park. You can buy the, you know, yearly, what are they, America the Beautiful pass or whatever. If not, it's like, I think $25, and that's good for, I think it's for a week. It's either a week or the entire length of the rally, I forget. But it's like $25. They do not take cash, it's card only. So there's that. Then you have, and do the Badlands Loop. There's a ton of pull-offs and outhouses and stuff, so if you need to use the facilities, there's places to do that. If you need to stretch your leg, there's places to do that. Plenty of places to grab pictures of the Badlands area. Some hiking trails, top tip in that area, rattlesnakes are a thing, so stay on actual paths. Do not just go walking willy-nilly through you know, raw ground. Otherwise, you may hear a hiss and a rattle, and you're in the middle of nowhere. And rattlesnakes are venomous, and, you know, yes, they're not the most venomous snake, but do you really want to get bit by a rattlesnake? I don't. I don't want to get bit by any snake. But yeah, so do that. Go through Wall, then do the Badlands Loop. Go all the way through. You know, do the Loop Road, which is South Dakota Highway 240. Then I would go to the, you know, I would come in on the Wall side. Then I would, my preference normally is you go all the way to the visitor center. You can go out this park if you want and then come back in. Yet again, you bought the pass that's good for the whole, you know, week or month or whatever it is. So yeah, that's fine. So yeah, you could do that. And then I would come back in, go to the visitor center, stop for a minute, use the facilities, grab a cold drink, get fill a water bottle, whatever. And that's another thing. Have a water bottle with you at all times, because in that area the sun gets angry. I mean angry. It will be from exposed sun to clouds. It will feel 20 degrees hotter, and it's pretty low humidity in that area, just because you're kind of high desert. I mean, it's not desert, but you know what I mean. It's high and it's kind of dry. So yeah, I would have a water bottle with you at all times. Insulated ones are always a better option, just because you can fill it with ice, and as you drain it, just keep filling it with water, and you should still have ice in there. As for but then leaving the Badlands, I would stop for lunch in the town of Interior. There's a couple of bars in that area. There's Lulu's is kind of the little bit more known one, but there's a couple of other bars in the area. Grab you a burger, grab you a beverage, and have lunch. On the way back, you can take Highway 44, which you pick up just south of Interior. And you've got a couple options. You could take the Wounded Knee cutoff. I forget what highway that is. Go by the old Wounded Knee site, which is always worth checking out, because it is probably one of the biggest travesties of the Plains Indian Wars. So yeah, there's that. The other thing is, and once you do that, I would take Highway 18 back through Custer and whatnot, and you can hit Needles again and come up however you want. Needles or Iron Mountain and come up however you want. Or you could take South Dakota 78, I think, back through Rapid and go that way. That's the other option. So yeah, like I said, food spots on the way. Wall Drug is, Wall Drug. There's a couple other restaurants in the town of Wall. Plus, you have all the stuff in Interior. You've got a couple small Indian communities on Highway 18. 44 itself, though, from Interior to Rapid, there's really nothing there. There's a couple of small bars and stuff, but other than that, there's really not much out there. So yeah, there's that. That brings me to oh yeah, and there's an Indian casino on Highway 18, like probably 30 miles from the highway that takes you to Rapid City. Like I said, I think it's 78, but I might be wrong. So really quick, talk about the Wyoming Loop, Gillette, Sundance, Devil's Tower, Azeta, Montana. Azeta, Montana, famous for Topless Tuesday. They used to do something in Hewlett, Wyoming. I forget. I thought it was Bottomless Wednesday or something like that. I don't remember, but I don't know. I've heard that. I don't know if that's still a thing or not, if that's ever been a thing, but whatever. Azeta is right on Highway 212. To get to 212, either you can head north out of up past the Throttle, and 212 will cut that this is a full day loop. This is legitimately a 600-ish mile loop. Thunderstorms are a thing. They will tend to be on one side of the mountain or the other. No, they can't hit everywhere. And that's everywhere in this area. Pop-up afternoon thunderstorms are pretty common as stuff comes up over the higher mountains. If you live in, like, you know, eastern Colorado, western Kansas, western Nebraska, eastern Wyoming, you know what I'm talking about. The way that, oh, it'll be sunny, then all of a sudden here comes a line of stuff coming over the mountains and it just flipping a floor. Yeah. So that's the thing. So be ready to check your radar. And the other thing is I don't care where you're going, have your rain gear with you. You could be going into downtown just for, you know, the day. I would still have your rain gear with you, because, you know, that 30 miles from Rapid back to Sturgis in a heavy thunderstorm with hail. Yes, it hails in the Black Hills. I mean, not enough that it'll make you normally, you know, stop and wait underneath not enough that it'll stop and make you wait underneath an overpass. Just that little, you know, shotgun size, that birdshot size, that just makes you rethink all your life choices. Hello. Must be like a murder or something. So there's that. When it comes to coming back, like I said, you can do 90 one way, 212 the other. Which way you go, that's up to you. I definitely would cut up and go past Devil's Tower, at least stop at the trading post. You know, stop off. It's a good place to get a picture that doesn't cost you anything. And they have really good ice cream and a pretty good souvenir stop too. So there's that. And, you know, there's Harley dealerships in Gillette and Sundance both. Stop by, grab yourself a t-shirt or a poker chip or something. Yeah, there's that. Like I said, legitimately, it's probably a 620, 650 mile loop up to, if you wanted to do it that way. So just know, like I said, full day ride. The last thing we'll talk about is the big three. This is the ride that everybody goes up there for. It's Needles, Iron Mountain, and the Wildlife Loop. Now, you may or may not skip the Wildlife Loop. That's your call. The Wildlife Loop in and of itself, it's not bad, but the reason you do it is because that's where you're going to see buffalo. You're going to see the begging donkeys. You're going to see goats. You're going to see all that stuff up there. So yeah, you'll see all that stuff in that area. Word to the wise, there are probably 4 or 5 cattle guards. So if it's wet, you might pucker a little bit when you go over, because that wet steel, when your rear tire hits it, it'll, yeah, if you have the power to it, the rear tire is going to spin. I think the only other cattle guards really are when you're entering and leaving Custer State Park on Needles and Iron Mountain. So next, let's talk about Needles. Needles has the tunnels that everybody knows of. You know, Needles Eye Tunnel. There's a couple other ones too. Top tip, especially at Needles Eye, it will back up a ton. It can take you up to 30 minutes to get through Needles Eye Tunnel. Yes, it can. Go early, especially on Needles. Couple reasons. Number one, yet again, the afternoon, after like, you know, 1, 2 o'clock, it will get hot. think your life hot type stuff. I did not start my ride tracker thingy, but you know, that's fine. Come on. What the hell? Come on. There's nobody turning left. Why? So yeah, it will be hot as flipping hell as you're going up and down Needles Highway and that stuff. So there's that. In addition, you have there's a ton of pull-offs. Very few have facilities. A few might have porta potties, so that's a possibility. So there are those, but there's a ton of pull-offs to pull off and get pictures and stuff in the area. Needles has the big rock, you know, needle-looking thing. That's why it's called Needles Highway. It's big spires. Yes, it's pretty. Yes, it's great riding. There's a ton of switchbacks. There's a ton of, there's no pigtails, but there are a bunch of curves or a bunch of switchbacks. Severe grades, pretty heavy banks. So just know all of that stuff does exist on Needles Highway. Needles is good, don't get me wrong. I like Iron Mountain better. Because Iron Mountain's a little bit more wooded. There's, I think, more elevation changes. The pigtails make it better. The fact that either way you go, there's a tunnel that you come out and you just see Mount Rushmore in the background. It's a great place to grab a picture, and that's part of why I got the Insta360s, because I want the ability to get those kind of shots. My 360 is my tour pack, by the way, so yeah, I have it, I just don't use it really all that much. So yeah, there's that. You have, over the course of like 12 miles, it's like 200 turns, you know, curves. There's, you know, 2 splits, 3 tunnels, a couple of pigtails, 1 double pigtail. Yeah, it's just, it's everywhere. It is, I think, the best ride in the Black Hills. I would argue it's probably one of the best rides in the country. The Dragon's good, don't get me wrong. It's not Iron Mountain Road. Iron Mountain Road is better. $1 Million Highway, I think, is the only one that might top it. And that's just because of the sheer mountains that you're around, the sheer high peaks that surround you. You have my wallet, right? Yeah, we're good. That would have sucked. And I do have to stop by an AutoZone or somewhere to pick up some hardware for my truck. But they're not open yet. I don't think most of them open till 8, which is fine. Come on, Grandpa. Like I said, I think Needles is the best ride in the area. And if you disagree, you're more than welcome to your opinion. I have no... If you said either one of the 4, Needles, Iron Mountain, the Dragon, or $1 Million Highway are your favorite ride in the entire country, I would not call you wrong on either one of the 4. I personally think it's Iron Mountain and the $1 Million Highway as 1 and 1A. Which way you want to put them, that's up to you. Personally, I think Iron Mountain is slightly better just because of Mount Rushmore. But if you like the natural beauty of the $1 $million highway a little bit better, I get it. If you like the natural beauty of Needles, I get it. I'm not calling you wrong on either one of those four. If you think going to the Sun is better, there's an argument for it. I have not yet done going to the Sun Road. Because other than that southeastern part of Montana, I have not been to any part of Montana on this. Maybe next year we fix this and I go to the Pacific Northwest and I go through that area. Maybe. I don't know, because I'll have the 4th week of vacation next year. Maybe. I don't know yet. We'll see. So that's basically all I wanted to talk about Sturgis ride video. I hope this recorded. I'm hoping this recorded and the audio came out okay. If it did, give me a like, a share, a comment. Are you going to Sturgis this year? If you are, where are you staying? I'll be in the South 40 chip. I might put a short up when I pull in and, you know, say, hey, here's where I'm at. And if I'm out in front, come by, say hey. Like I said, 6 weeks from yesterday from leaving. I'll go over more, you know, firm, well, not so much firm, but, you know, tentative plans on the way out there, on the way, all that stuff. I might film that later today, actually. I've got a few hours to kill. I'm going to go stuff my face right now. I'm supposed to play golf with the old man and the brothers this afternoon. Kind of our Father's Day thing, because, you know, Dad has to work tomorrow, and the weather tomorrow doesn't look like it's going to be all that great. So tomorrow, I think I'm going to go up on a beer run up to Kenosha. But anyway, like I said, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I will see you all next time. Make sure you keep that shiny side up.